Hey guys, it's Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. If you're new or returning, I hope you find something that you like. It's going to be a short one this week. I always promise this, and I always threaten it's going to be short, but I don't know this time if it really will be or not. I guess we'll find out as we go. Okay, so this week has been odd, not bad, just very strange. I'm filming I'm filming this at the late afternoon Thursday. I just got my first vaccine shot. It is Moderna. I go back on April Fool's Day for the second shot. There were lots of older men in my group with me when we all went in together, and they were all making the same bad dad jokes for April Fool's stuff with the vaccine. Like, it was like, oh God, you please. It was a long 20 minutes sitting in that waiting room. All good-natured, of course, but of course it was sort of like, oh, didn't you hear the other Marvin say the same thing? Anyways, so yeah. Let's see here. Song of the week this week. I really want to do Sometimes I Cry by Chris Stapleton. I love this man's voice. It's so great. God, it's so great. I almost did Traveler. That was the first song that I really heard from Chris. I think that album, his first album, was from 2015, so not that long ago, but I just love his voice. It's country, but I don't know, I don't think he's twangy. He's not like Dwight Yoakam, you know what I mean? He's like got a big voice, and oh God, it's just, if I can find Sometimes I Cry on YouTube, that's not just a clip or something, I will link it because, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Otherwise, I will link Traveler. Either way. So, I just love this song. It's so good. I'm fine. I'm not depressed or anything, but like, it's just such a good song. Such a good song. So, okay, I've got one. Oh, before I start talking about what I did, I forgot to say in my March TBR that for the month of March, I am trying not to buy any books. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get books still, because, but I don't include my book of the month because I've already paid for that. I already have the credits, and I just got the one book this month, so I'll be getting that in like a couple of weeks, probably. I'll get in the mail. And if I happen to get anything from Paperback Swap that was already on my wish list that pops up, I mean, I never know when something's going to pop up, then I will request that with a credit. But that still won't cost me any physical money with that transaction. So, no money on books this month. Oh yeah, another exception. Sorry. Another exception is buying gifts for friends. So, my Thingiversary is coming up, my library thing anniversary. Oh gosh, I think this is, I can't do math. I can't do math. What's 21 minus 8? $13? So 13? 13. So it's my 13th anniversary of being on library thing. The math effort made my face go all red. So you buy one book for yourself for every year you're on library thing, plus one to grow on. So if it is my 13th, and I'll get a calculator later to check for sure, I will buy myself 14 books. But that's not till the beginning of April. I might pre-purchase, like buy in March, a couple of books from the UK. I'm gonna see, but that's the only other caveat. Plus, my friend Joy's birthday is at the end of the month. I already have one book for her. Hint, it's Bert Pastore's poetry collection. But I want to get her at least one more book too. So that will be for Joy. So again, not buying books this month, but caveats are book of the month, which is already like a tick, but it'll be coming in. Anything that pops up on a Paperback Swap wish list. A book for a friend's birthday, or if I buy things earlier for my own Thingiversary. But I'm trying to do that this month. I'm trying to just buy domestically. It shouldn't be that difficult, but any excuse for me to order anything from the UK, and I'm like, oh, all right, I better do it. So I'm trying not to, but I really, it's like effortful. On Monday, which was March 1st, I very nearly purchased a book, just not even thinking. I caught myself right before I hit the purchase button, like the cart button. I was like, oh, Laura, no, don't do that. So it's an effort every day. It sounds really stupid, and this is very much first world problems and ridiculous, I know. But like anything for me, knowing that I can't do it and knowing that I can't have it, whatever it would be, makes me want it even more. So I need to just forget about it, but then also be aware enough so I don't accidentally buy a whole cart full of stuff. So wish me luck. I may fail. We'll see. Okay, I've got sort of one book for each little category here. I will start with one book in. I didn't buy this though. My mom bought this and read it and then passed it on to me. This is Thin Ice by Paige Shelton. It's the start of a new series set in Alaska. I don't know if it's a real town. Benedict, Alaska. No idea if that's real or not, but could be. So this about this woman who is a thriller writer, thriller author, novelist. There was a super fan that stalked and kidnapped her, holding her and her captive inside a van for 3 days. She escaped by throwing herself from this speeding van, suffering a severe head injury and memory loss. Scarred and still healing from her injuries, she secretly escapes to the beautiful Benedict, Alaska. Then as she gets there, someone dies. It was ruled a suicide, but they don't believe, like, people in town don't really believe the sheriff when he says that. So while she's waiting for her stalker attacker to be apprehended in the lower 48, I guess stuff really heats up and she thinks that he may be in town. I know this is excellent. My mom read this in about 2 days and it ended on a cliffhanger. No, I have asked her if she wants me to order her the second book, and she's like, no, I have plenty of books, which just makes me chuckle because she probably has 30 books on her TBR. And for me, I mean, it was like, oh, that's cute. Do you want me to order it for you anyways? She's like, no, damn it, don't do that. So I've got this from my mom. Again, I'm not spending any money on books, but I have this here. And then I decided to DNF a book. This one is really hard for me. And it's been sitting on my currently reading list, I think, maybe since August or September of 2020. Bummed about this. Dead Mountain. The Untold True Story of the Dyatlov Past Incident by Donnie, Eichar. Okay. I think the Dyatlov Past Incident is extremely fascinating. If you just Google anywhere, YouTube has stuff everywhere. Like, there's information out there about the incident. I've heard about it most of my life. I don't know how I know about this, but I just knew about it forever. And it's always been fascinating to me. Like, where is J. Edgar Hoover? Same kind of thing. Like, you know. So when this was chosen for my Bitches Book Club group, which I think we're changing our name to something without a swear word in it. Whatever. So this was exciting. I was like, oh good, a book about this, like nonfiction. I'm so in for this. Yes, yes, yes. And then I opened it to start reading and I was like, oh, I can't really read this that well. As in, I had a physically difficult time reading this book. And because of the font in here, I can't read it. That's why I'm DNFing it. So I'm going to hold this up tight and hopefully you can see the font. Okay. Now, it's not a bad font. It's not terrible. However, on the page, I can't scan it. Like, as I'm going along reading, I can't follow it. I keep wanting to go down. So going across is hard. And I have tried the trick that I have seen. Oh my God, what's her name? Do. Katie at Books and Things. I think it's right. So hello. Just how she starts her video. She takes a bookmark. All I have is a pen. But, like, you know, runs it down the page and reads. That's how she reads. I tried that and I couldn't even do that because I was skipping below the bookmark to read below that anyways. So I don't know why my brain is doing this. I couldn't find a font title anywhere in here, like what it was, a name for it, what it was called. Maybe I'm just missing it. I don't know. So I have to DNF this. I don't think anyone else has had this problem So your mileage may vary, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. I've tried a lot and I just can't. I will say, however, about the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 2019 in the fall, one of my favorite shows, Expedition Unknown, hosted by Josh Gates, one of my crushes. I think it's on Travel or Discovery. It flip-flops back and forth. I'm not sure which one it is. But they had 2-hour episodes back to back about the Dyatlov Pass incident. So he and his team go with a couple of specialists about the incident, and they travel the exact same route that these kids did. They, of course, don't ski or hike. They take snowmobiles. But even still, there's stuff breaks down, people get frostbite. They stayed with some of the locals when they got to town, into a town. I mean, town is a generous word for a small community, but, and they were so nice and caring, and they went past a gulag, and they looked around there, and finally they camped fairly near where the kids had their fateful last night. So part of that was to go along this pass and see what they can find by just being there, being on the ground, talking to people that really know a lot about it, talking to the native people that live there, everything. And part of it was trying to debunk a lot of the claims. There were, I think, 9 claims total on various things, like secret spy plane, avalanche, some kind of crazy alien abduction, fever. I don't remember all of them. I have huge notes on this, but I can't find the notebook that I kept it in. Typical. So they go through and they eliminate everything except for 2 or 3. And I think that was, one of them was avalanche, I believe. I don't remember the other ones. This is terrible. I'll put it in the notes what I remember when I go look back. So Josh was really all into this. The experts were really into it. They learned a lot by being there, being on scene, looking at some of the same trees, like looking at the river, where the river was. It was frozen, of course, but where the bodies were found and everything. Really fascinating. I highly recommend watching those 2 hours. But I got more out of that than I think I would have gotten out of this. This book was published in 2013, and Josh's trip was taken at the beginning of 2019 and aired at the fall of 2019. So it's worth looking into. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, I'm still interested in this, but I can't read this book. It's a huge bummer. Believe me. I feel bad. Sorry. Okay. And then I only finished 1 book this week. I really just had a hard time concentrating on anything, if I'm honest, from having all those days on and trying to keep up for so long. It took me almost this whole week to kind of come down off of that being around people high. For a quiet introvert who lives by herself, 14 straight days of peopling is really difficult. So all I managed to do was finish the group read, my buddy read with Danny. This is our February read of The Masque of the Black Tulip by Lauren Willig. It's book number 2 in the series. So how do I describe this without giving anything away? Okay, Henrietta, who is the younger sister of Richard from the first book. We see Henrietta a little in the first, this is sort of more her story. And Miles is the childhood best friend of Richard, and the two of them fall in love. They sort of realize at the same time that they love each other, and they're both like, oh no, I can't love this person. Like, no way, he's like a brother / sister, or what would Richard think, or, so, but it's a believable realization. It's a believable love story. Nothing seemed too fake. I liked Henrietta a lot. She questioned things. She made mistakes, but she admitted when she was wrong. She thought about it and went, oh, I apologize. I didn't realize this, whatever. Very mature. I think she's 20, maybe. But she handled things very well. So did Miles. Very believable internal angst over things. So I liked their relationship a lot. And I liked what they were doing with trying to figure out who the Black Tulip is. Now, the Black Tulip is a French spy that has somehow insinuated their way deep into London, into the town. And they are there. Henrietta and Miles are both trying to root out who the Black Tulip really is. we see snippets from Richard and Amy from the first book. They pop in and out occasionally. We see what Jane is doing. Jane was the best friend of Amy from the first book. Jane is still in France. She is working for England as sort of a spy herself. So we see her a few times in the Napoleonic courts and doing things in Paris. And yeah, you're never quite sure who done it. So Lauren Willig sets up the person who eventually is the Black Tulip. She sets it up very much so it seems like the obvious choice. So I thought that that wasn't who really was the Black Tulip. And it comes to the end and that's who it was. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. I still enjoyed the book. I still liked it. I liked everything else about it. I didn't even talk about Eloise and Colin, who are the contemporaries, Colin owns the papers. It's his family that owns all the papers, all the notes, all the diaries from Henrietta and the Pink Carnation and Richard and Amy and everybody. Eloise is the one working on her dissertation and is using Colin's library, but the two of them are starting to circle each other too. So that was always jarring to come back to the present, like, what? Who's Colin? Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Sorry. That part was fine. I liked the book, 3.5 stars. I might have rounded it up to 4 on Goodreads. I don't remember, but I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to starting The Deception of the Emerald Ring on Sunday. I don't think I gave anything away, did I? No, I don't think so. I don't think I did. Okay, that's it. Seriously it. I pulled out a couple of books I wanted to just show you guys that I'll be reading very shortly. So I found the first book in the Cozy Mystery series set in North Wales. This is The Cold Light of Mourning by Elizabeth J. Duncan. So this is book number 1 in the series. I'll be starting that hopefully this week. And then my friend Angie, who sometimes watches these videos, hi Angie, she mentioned that she wanted to join or start our own book club, just the two of us. And I said, great, I'm all for anybody who wants to read. So I said, you pick books, you just let me know what it is and I'll get my hands on them. So she picked a few different ones over the last few months. And then she just settled on this one for our first read together. So that's You Think It and I'll Say It by Curtis Sittenfeld. I thought these were nonfiction essays, but I guess these are just short stories, fictional short stories. So it should be short. I've never read Curtis Sittenfeld before. I know she's supposed to be a very good writer. I know she's popular, but I just haven't read her stuff before. So curious to start this one too. And then of course, the stacks of books that were in my March TBR are all glaring at me from right here. I haven't started any of them. I have a quieter work week coming up though, so hopefully I will have time in between working on my taxes. So hope you're all doing well, hope you're all staying safe, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.